quiet town nestled in the heart of Mpumalanga lives a man whose life's work bridges both science and soul. Human Meyer, a dentist by profession and a master photographer by passion, has spent decades capturing the world through a lens of precision, patience, and profound beauty. With over 1,100 international acceptances in photographic salons across 50 countries, Human's work has spoken a universal language. In 2007, he was awarded the title of Artiste by the Fédération Internationale de l'Art Photographique, or FIAP, and in 2017 the prestigious Excellence distinction followed. Back home in South Africa, his impact is just as significant. He holds 3 associateships in different mediums, 2 fellowships, the highest national honor, and the elite EPSSA Melee, a milestone representing over 1,000 national acceptances. But beyond the titles and accolades is a man who sees light where others see ordinary, whether it is raw grace of bodyscapes, the soul of the portrait, or the power of a lion in the wild. Human captures more than just images, he captures essence. In the first chapter of Through the Viewfinder South Africa, we sit with one of my greatest mentors. This is more than just a conversation. This is a tribute to a lifetime behind the lens. Hi guys, it's Martin here. Today we're with Human Meyer here in Nelspruit. This is the first in the series that I'm trying to do now. It's called Through the Lens South Africa, where people that's close and dear to me, that's been mentors, people I look up to in the industry, that's taught me a hell of a lot about photography, where I do like a shoot with them in the style of Platon. If you guys don't know him, go and look him up. He is one of the world's greatest photographers. So we're doing a bit of a documentary. I've got a couple of questions here for Iman, and then we're going to do a photo shoot the Platon style as well. There will be some behind the scenes, and at the end of the video there will be some photos. So stick around. I hope you guys enjoy this. Hello Iman. So how did you first get into photography, and what sparked your passion for it?
Way back in the day when you left the army, you had to buy a motorbike, you had to buy a leather jacket, a hi-fi, and a camera. And that's literally what happened way back in 1984-85. And my first camera was a Minolta X300, and it had 35-70 zoom lens, magic lens in hand. Could detach, put it on people. Magic. It was first weekend in the park. We saw 3 cheetahs way at Ondershaven. And this is a true story. You can't make it up. Took these pictures. Prints way back in the day. Postcard prints. Got the prints back. And you literally had to put a little arrow there to show people there's the cheetahs. And it was just not good. And immediately I bought a 65-300 CPC lens. And the rest is history. I just never stopped from there.
Okay, that's great. You've been a dentist for decades. How do you balance your work with your love for photography?
My photography is purely, plainly a passion. It's more than a hobby. And it's not the most shall we say, money-friendly hobby. But at this stage, I think I do like 60-70% photography and about 40% dentistry. So, yeah, it's not that I balance it. Something's got to fund my photography.
Yeah, we all know that one. It's a thing that you can get addicted to. Then how many years have you been shooting, and what keeps you inspired after all this time?
I started seriously in 1997, and I'm goal-driven. I'm an extremely goal-driven person. I need something to to keep me going, and I need a goal, and I need to fulfill that goal. I have to work for something, and you just never get there. You just carry on. That's it. That's what's keeping me going. There's still a few things that I need to do, and what I want to master and what I want to manage.
Every day is a learning curve with photography. Always something to learn. Your work spans wildlife, portrait, and bodyscapes. What draw you to these genres?
Basically, I'm not a wildlife photographer. I'm not a nature photographer. I'm not a studio photographer. I'm a photographer. So I'm very involved in club work and in competition work and in salon work. And you need something with impact. So anything that can work, anything that's got impact, anything that's got basically competition work. And I enjoy it much outside as inside.
Okay.
As long as I can just press the shutter.
Yes. And I suppose you've pressed the shutter a couple of times in your life. Right. Do you see a connection between dentistry and photography in terms of precision and artistry?
I think that in dentistry, you've got your rules. You've got to do a thing, and you've got to work methodically, and you've got to deduct. And where photography is creative, that's just like freedom. Got to know the rules. I love to break the rules, but you've got to know the rules and break them when it works. Not just somewhere for breaking it. So no. Dentistry is stress. It's I have to do. That's the way. Where with photography, you can. There's basically no right or wrong.
Yes.
It's what you like or what you don't like. So I don't think there's. I know a lot of dentists that do photography, and I don't know if there's any correlation there. And they're not weekend warriors. They're serious photographers. And I don't know. I know them because they're also dentists, or I know them because they're photographers that also happen to be dentists.
Okay, that's great. Let's move over to the gears and technique. What cameras and lenses are you currently in your kit?
Do you really want to know? Yeah. My go-to in here is still my old 2008 D700 Nikon and my D800 Nikon.
Okay.
I still have to find a camera that gives me a better skin tone than the old D700. In fact, I've got two of them.
Okay.
And my go-to, if the chips are down, my D700. If I want very, very high detail, if we do fashion work, if we do really close-ups, and I want to crop, the D800. It's got a 34 megapixel sensor, I think. So the detail, unforgiving. You think you've got a nice lens, put it on the D800, and then you'll see if you've got a sharp lens.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I've got others for the wildlife as well, but they're basically
your go-to cameras.
In my studio here. Those three old battleships.
Yeah.
Battleships. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Then, do you prefer natural light or artificial lighting for portraits, and why?
At this stage, I do artificial light for this pure and simple reason: control. We've got all the control in the world. If you work outside, you can blame the weather, you can blame the clouds, you can blame the sun, or the light is harsh, or whatever. If you're in here, it's 100% you. From the camera, the lens, the light, the position of the light, the exposure, the pose, the everything, it's you. So if you mess up here, it's you. You can't blame anybody. But if you get something good, it's also you. Okay. So the light and the control of the light. The light is basically everything.
Yeah. And knowing your work, the stuff you create, you can really play with the lights. The contrast, the lines and stuff in the bodyscapes, you've got so much control over that.
That's the thing. It's the control of the light. You have to control the light.
Even that himself, I suppose that's taken a couple of years to master.
Practice. I've read something somewhere where they say if you spend 10,000 hours doing studio work and you're still doing it, you might be getting there.
Sure, okay.
10,000 hours is a lot, but there's always, and I'm still looking for that next picture. Never stops. You're still looking.
Yeah, as we said before, it's still, even myself, I haven't caught my one picture. You get nice photos along the way, but you're always chasing that one photo.
There was a guy, Human Meyer, way back in the day, always used to say, the best photo of an house sparrow is still to be taken.
Okay.
And you get the moss.
It's true. Yeah. Okay. When shooting wildlife, what's been the most challenging moment in the field?
Oh, I've got a photo there in the back. I framed it, and it was way in the Kruger Park at Sunset Dam, and the crocs were hunting. And you basically first see the fishes coming out of the water, breaking the surface, and then the croc follows, and then to focus, to get them sharp and to freeze them. And you're in a car, you don't have a tripod, you don't have freedom of movement, and you must just, if they're a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, you must use it. It's like 80% luck, 20% skill.
Yes.
But I've got one with a croc and two fishes, mouth open, and that one is big favorite.
Okay.
Still sitting there.
Yeah, I suppose that was exactly on the right.
That specific one.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a few years ago.
Yeah.
That's a few years ago.
And it's not something that you can go and replicate every day.
You do
the
it
right
once,
time at the right.
You do it once. You're not gonna. I've done a lot afterwards. Beautiful croc shots, fish in the mouth, anything kill in the mouth. But that specific one with mouth open and the two fishes like in the mouth, but not. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. What do you think of your work as a photographer has changed over the years? If so, how?
Yes, we started way back in the day with prints and then slides, color negatives, color positives, and then into the digital age. And digital was a much more playing field level playing field, I'd rather say. Because you used to go to the Kalahari 2 weeks with 20 rolls of film. Now you can shoot the same amount of photos in half an hour. So digital did make a big difference, and you can experiment more. And I think with digital, if you start off today, because you can immediately see, I think your learning curve is much steeper. You learn much faster. You don't have to go and process and frame and write box and loops and I think in that case things changed a lot. I think I'll always be a film shooter back in my mind. Picking the shots, you were forced way back in the day to pick your shots, make sure of your exposure. You couldn't check your exposure and decide plus a third, minus a third. Like now you just quickly look, quickly, a little bit up, a little bit more. You had to be exact. You had to know your exposure. You had to know your blacks, your whites, how to expose for white, how to expose for blacks. We always used to say you can give your whites away as long as you got a little bit of detail in the blacks. And that's on film. Digital made it much easier. I never used to do black and white. So I always said, why would I do black and white if I got all these beautiful colors to work with? And today, I'm black and white fanatic. There's still a few things I still want to do in black and white. My legacy, if somebody must ever talk to me about me, I would like them to say he was a photographer, not nature, not sport, not studio, not portraits, just a photographer. Just give me a camera and I'm in my happy place.
Okay. And as you said about the black and white, it's definitely, it's a genre of photography that it captures the essence of the moment. As we said, I'll do an entire wedding in black and white. just captures the subject.
There's just something about black and white that is, it takes away all the frills. If you do portraiture, like bodyscapes, you mentioned the bodyscapes now. A color bodyscape is just no good. It's got to be black and white, contrast. There is just nothing that beats that.
Okay. No, I fully agree with you on that one. Then, memorable moments and philosophy. Is there any particular photo that stands out as your favorite and most meaningful?
I've got two, but there I'm biased. They're both of my granddaughters.
Okay.
As difficult as it is to work with children, it's different working with them. And the big thing there is, it's the connection.
Okay.
And if I tell you I've got two beautiful girls, it's not because they're just my girls. I'll go and show you what I've won with them. That's I think that is the essence for me was I'll do that every weekend and I'll never get tired.
Okay. Yeah, special memories that you capture
with
forever.
those, and you see them grow and you see them develop, and it's just
Okay.
I'll photograph them every weekend and I'll never get tired.
You've captured the human form in bodyscape photography. What makes a great bodyscape image?
That's difficult. And I'm telling you, I think of all the kinds and genres of work that you can do, I think that's the most difficult, especially when it comes to lighting. Because you've got to treat that body like a landscape. So you need, and unfortunately not every model is suited to bodyscapes. You need proper line, you need proper shape, and you need proper form. And then simplicity. You must basically look twice to see and realize what you're looking at. And you can manage that, then you're there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because it's showing without showing.
Yeah.
And it's very technical.
The best thing is if you do a bodyscape and you do a print, and that model looked at it and she says, "Who's that?" And she doesn't even recognize herself. That's when I start getting goosebumps.
Okay.
Then you did it the right way.
Yes. What advice can you give a young photographer trying to develop their style?
I'm a gearhead. I collect cameras and lenses. And I used to be ashamed I'm not. And then I will, in the same breath, tell you, it's not the camera. But in this, then also my philosophy is you can't win the Formula 1 race in a Volkswagen. But it's also useless if I give you a Ferrari and you don't know how to drive. So get a camera, get to know the camera. I'm still shooting with my D7 numbers and I still don't know everything. And then you know your camera, get a good lens, maybe two. But the most important thing, once you've got those, camera and lens, and you can manage them. Light. Whether you do sport, whether you do nature, whether you do studio work. Light. Learn your light. Know your light. Understand your light. Use your light. Control your light. And if you can do that, you are.
That's excellent advice. And then from there it's just practice.
Like I said, they say gear doesn't matter. Gear does matter, but gear isn't everything. Spend your time and your money learning, like practicing. Go out, take photos, adjust. Be patient, go back. Learn from every shot, in every mistake. And yeah, we all mess up. We all mess up big time. We just don't see it.
Yes.
We just don't show it. But light's the main thing. Light, know your light, understand your light, use your light. And never forget, even in nature, even in sport, shadows are your friend. Shadows are your friends. Don't be afraid of shadows. Use shadows. this.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay, here comes the last question. If you could only shoot one last subject, what or who would it be?
oh, of them, my granddaughters. No,
Okay,
no,
there's
no
no
question,
question
no
about
question,
Okay.
no.
You can clearly see they've got a
No,
soft
no.
spot in your heart.
They got me there, both of them there.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's, and they're used to me, and I'm used to them. And the thing is, what makes the difference. You can bring your child here, and I'll give you a set of pictures of your child, and I'll give you a nice set of pictures of a child. But the thing with those two is the connection. It's not just two children, two little girls. There's a connection between us, and that makes the difference.
Okay.
You look at their eyes, the way they look at me, the way they look at the camera. They're not looking at a camera or a photographer. They're looking at me.
Yeah.
You know, they talk to me, or I talk to them. It's not I'm talking to a little girl. And that's the difference.
Okay. Oh, that's sweet. That's a very heartfelt answer you've got there. No, that's very nice.
My name is Human Meyer. I live in Nelspruit. I've been living in Nelspruit for the past 43 years. I'm a dentist by trade in my spare time at this stage, and I do photography, and I do a lot of photography. I'm very much involved with photography and the Photographic Society of South Africa, basically.